What's up guys, it's Brandon Flash here. Just want to make you guys a video showing you how I wash my car. We're here at Sunshine Auto Wash. It's a touchless car wash. They have do-it-yourself car wash as well as automatic touch-free. So I'll show you guys some of the bugs here on the front of my car. They're fairly caked on there, on the mirrors as well. Wheels are pretty dirty. So let me start with step number one here, which is spraying down the front end with car wash solution. So the reason I do this is that way the bugs can start to kind of break down before it even goes in the car wash, which is making the time in the touchless wash a bit more effective. You don't want to let this sit on there too long, as that way it can dry out, especially if it's fairly hot out or you're in direct sun. So I tend to wash my car at night, that way it also can fully dry overnight. All right, we've got the front end of the car sprayed down, as well as the wheels and the windshield, the front portion of the windshield, as well as the side mirrors. So then I'll show you guys that, and then we're gonna head into the touch-free wash. All right, so my local car wash has a few different options. I'll do the basic wash if the car is just dusty, but it doesn't do a very thorough wash. Typically, I stick with the $7 one because it's only $1 more, and it gives you the side blaster, which is nice. It also gives you the triple foam conditioner, which isn't a big deal, but it's just another step to help get crap off your car. And if the car is really filthy, so if I go off-roading, mud, whatever, then I will do the double wash, but typically that's not necessary. All right, so today we did the $7 option. Just about to pull in here. And here we go. You can see some of the soap on the windshield. All right, we just finished the automatic touch-free wash. Let me show you my drying process. Some things to note about going through the touch-free wash. So the initial side blast, bug blast, underbody blast, whatever, depending on your car wash, always try and go as slow as possible through that. If you just speed right through, you're not really getting the benefit of it. And then towards the end with the air dryers, always try and pace yourself as much as possible, and always try and leave a little bit of time at the end for the back of the car, because the back of the car is one of the spots that doesn't always get dried very well. So you kind of have to sit there for a moment. So I always leave a little bit extra time at the end for the back of the car rather than for the rest of the car. So I pulled into one of the do-it-yourself wash bays. Here you guys can see right at the car wash. It's pretty clean. Fair amount of water on the back end still. Yeah, let me show you guys my drying process. So in the back of my car, I keep a couple products. I keep some sort of quick detailer. This is just the one I got this time, as well as microfiber cloths. So step number one, I like to wipe down the mirrors as well as any spots on the windshield while the cloth is still fully dry, because I don't really use products on the glass. All right, time to dry the car with the quick detailer. So I usually just spray some down. I usually start with the front end of the car. And the purpose that the quick detailer is serving is that it's actually a lubricant for while you're hand drying the car, because otherwise you generally don't want to touch the paint. My car is ceramic coated, but it is a fairly old coating. I've put about 40,000 miles on the car since getting it coated, so it's not performing quite as well as it should, but you guys can kind of get the point here. I'll show you the final product, but essentially I do front end, I do the sides of the car, and then I do the back of the car last. Then I'll show you what I do after that. All right, moving on from wiping down the outside of the car. Next, I'm gonna do the door handles. Since the Model S door handles tuck in, so I'll do all those. I'm also gonna open all the doors so they can start to drain from around the door, because after that, I'm gonna do the door sills. I'm using that same cloth I used for the outside of the car, being that it has some of that quick detailer on it, and it's already damp, so it's less likely to scratch anything. Keep in mind, if it does get pretty dirty, you don't want to keep using it, get a new one. I personally use Costco Kirkland towels. It's $15 for 36, so it's a really good value. All right, next we're doing the door sills. So that's just kind of one of the fine points that a lot of people miss. I even get underneath the door and on the side of it there. I go around to all four. I'll get inside the trunk here. And the reason you do this is to keep the drips from happening, because if those areas are still wet, once you drive off, water is just gonna pour out of those areas and onto your otherwise clean car. It also, if you open your doors, if you have a passenger, if you drive Lyft or anything like that, it just makes it seem a lot cleaner of a car, rather than seeing an outside of the car being very clean and then opening the door and seeing a filthy door jamb. All right, door jambs are done. Next thing, now that I have a cloth that's somewhat dirty, being that my wheels aren't anything too special, I can keep using this cloth even if it is a little bit dirty. And now I'm just gonna wipe out the brake dust. So there is some, even though it's a Tesla and it has regenerative braking, it still very much produces brake dust. Has those big Brembo brakes. And that way, especially if you're doing this in the winter in like Minnesota or any other cold climate, you're not having water freeze to the surface of your wheels. And that just looks tacky and can actually throw off the balance of the wheel. So the reason I move so quickly, I'm used to doing this in Minnesota where it's very cold out, and if you don't move quickly, it just freezes. But it's also helpful here in Arizona, because moving quickly means that if you're doing this in a hot day in the sun, that way you're not getting water spots from the water. All right, car wash is all set. Let me just give you guys a walk around just so you can see how it looks. Keep in mind, this car does have 150,000 miles on it, so it is looking quite good. It's fairly often that people actually ask me if this car is new or if it's a 2019 or 2020, when actually it's a 2015. So if that gives you any hope, last step I would probably do is add a little bit of tire shine. Not too much, just enough so that way it's not flinging about, but make it look a little bit more complete. I don't have any with me though. Or depending on if your glass is dirty, you could do the inside glass or you could do the outside glass, but I did that last time I washed the car, so we are good for today. It's looking pretty good. So yeah. All right, now that the car is clean, let me give you guys a little bit of a summary of what we did. So first thing, I pulled up to the car wash, stayed out of the way. I sprayed down all the dirty areas, the bug areas, anywhere that you want to give some special attention to with a car wash mix. So it's literally just car wash soap like you would use if you were hand washing it with a 2-bucket method, in a spray bottle with water. So I sprayed down all those areas to kind of help break down those bugs or any dirt or anything on the car prior to going into the touchless wash, being that the touchless wash only lets soap sit on the car for so long and it can only do so much in that time, especially if those bugs are really caked on or any mud or anything, because typically to get dried out mud off of your car, you have to get it wet first or it's not going to come off very easily. So we did that. I went with the 3rd tier car wash, which gives you the bug blaster, the side blaster, all that fun stuff. You don't have to go that crazy. You can do a more basic wash depending on how dirty your car is. So we did that. Key tips there: make sure you drive slowly through the bug blaster or underbody or anything like that. And then make sure you drive slowly through the air blaster as well. So that will help you get the best drying job done. Once you're done drying the car with the auto dryer, pull into either off to the side or do-it-yourself bay or just some spot out of the way, and then use a microfiber cloth. First start with your mirrors and your glass, being that those are spots you're going to want really dry and really easy to see. And then after that, I use that same microfiber cloth. It's only a tiny bit damp from the mirrors and glass. And I use a quick detailer spray to first start with the front end, and then kind of work my way back. And that's how I dry the car. I spray it with quick detailer and then wipe it quickly with a microfiber. A key point there is you don't want to apply too much pressure on the paint or you will scratch it, even with a microfiber and quick detailer, because any dirt that's left behind, if you're just pushing on the paint, it will scratch it. Once I do the entire outside surfaces of the vehicle, I'll do the door jambs, I'll do the door handles, things like that, just to kind of add that finishing touch. If necessary, I'll then clean the glass with a glass cleaner. And if I was home, I would be vacuuming my mats as well. And as needed, I'll pull out the mats and scrub them. I actually have the 3D Max Spider mats, so they stay clean for a fairly decent while. I usually only have to clean those every 2 or 3 weeks, especially in Arizona. In Minnesota in the winter, I will have to clean those more often than that, though I usually push it off, just being it's annoying in the winter and they get immediately dirty. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Again, this is Brandon Flash. If you enjoyed this content and you want to see more, hit that like button down below as well as the subscribe button. It really helps out my channel. Would love to see you guys watch more videos of mine. And if you have any feedback, comments, suggestions, whatever, feel free to drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you have any tips that you find really helpful. For me, this is just a very quick and easy method to keep my car clean. I'm a bit OCD about having a clean car, so this is what works for me.